Dear students, today we are discussing about scheduling, or you can also say scheduling. So let's discuss first background. Scheduling is the conversion of a project action plan into a operating timetable. So a schedule is basically a timetable. You used to see timetable since your childhood in your schools, in your colleges, and even at university level in your department where you are studying, you can see timetable. What information it gives you? A timetable gives you information for your lectures, just like the different days and the different subjects and the different lectures or classes which will be conducted on each day, and what will be the specific timing of each class during a day. All that information is available in your timetable. So basically your lecture is also it's an example of a project. You can take another example. Suppose you are planning for a one day seminar in your department. So you are supposed to, make a schedule of the activities that are supposed to be performed, just like the topics of seminar, what will be the timing for each speaker, and then what will be the timing of, say, suppose lunch, and what will be the timing of high tea, what will be the timing of the award distribution ceremony. So all these activities are to be mentioned. So this is basically a schedule or timetable. That schedule gives us basis for monitoring a project. You can monitor all activities through a schedule. What activity is to be performed, when, which activity has been completed, which activity is about to start, and currently which activity is going on. You can monitor everything through that schedule. So that's why we said that this is one of the major project management tool to monitor the progress of a project. Work changes daily, so a detailed plan is essential. So certainly you are supposed to have a detailed plan for each activity which is to be performed. Not all project activities need to be scheduled at the same level of detail. So project managers are well aware which activities are critical, needs more attentions, and are required to be, you know, uh, planned in detail. Most of the scheduling is done at work breakdown structure level and rarely at the work package level. If you can recall your memory, we have already discussed about work breakdown structure. It's a process of uh, dividing all your activities into smaller and more manageable components. You distribute activities in a hierarchy. So first you mention an activity, major activity, you then subdivide that activity into different tasks. And then further these tasks are divided into work packages. So at the lowest level of a work breakdown structure is work package. Only the most critical work packages may be shown on the schedule. So as work packages as are at the lower level, you don't need to mention schedule for each work package separately. Suppose, as we already discussed, example of timetable of lectures. So once you have mentioned that lecture 1 suppose is to be conducted from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So that's all, for lecture 1. So either it is conducted in class of part 1, part 2, or part 3, part 4, timing will be same. So once you have mentioned timing for lecture 1, you don't need to mention it separately for class 1, class 2, class 3. Most of the scheduling is based on network drawings. So basically, for scheduling purpose, we develop networks. We develop drawings of networks. We use different symbols, just like arrows or rectangles, squares, circles, through which we show connection between activities of a project. Now we are discussing network scheduling advantages. There are a lot of advantages of having, a schedule which is developed through a network. Just like consistent framework, Network scheduling gives you very consistent results. Through networking scheduling purpose, you can get the outcome, desired outcome effectively and efficiently. This network scheduling shows interdependencies. Through network diagrams, networking scheduling, you came to know which activity is dependent on other activity. So first you are supposed to perform, say suppose activity A, then you can proceed to activity B. Shows when resources are needed. You become very clear about the activity, what are the resources which are required for that activity, and what will be the timing of that activity through your network schedule. Ensure proper communication. Through network scheduling, we develop link between the activities so you can communicate properly between different activities. Further, network scheduling determines expected completion date. So you are clearly mentioning when activity is to be started and when activity is to be completed. Identifies critical activities. So some activities need more attention, more crucial for accomplishment of the project and need your attention. So that's why in scheduling you can mention which activities need more attention and need immediate attention for completion purpose. Shows which of the activities can be delayed. Some activities, as we already discussed, are crucial and need to be completed because other activities are dependent on these activities, and sometimes that some activities can be delayed. So if it is possible, you can delay and you can focus on other critical activities. Determines start dates. Of course, you mentions the start date of each activity in your schedule. Shows which task must be coordinated, and you uh, you have to show that which activity is dependent on other activity, or which are simultaneous activities, which are sequential activities. You have to coordinate among all activities through your schedule. Shows which task can be run parallel. Of course, sometimes you need to perform activity A, B, C simultaneously. So you have to mention same timing for that activity. Just like in lecture 1 in your department and university can be conducted simultaneously in 4 batches: BS1, BS2, BS3, BS4. Relieves some conflict. So if there's proper schedule, proper allocation is done for resources as well as timing, then that will minimizes the chances of conflict among activities. Allows probabilistic estimates. You came to know about the probability of your activity. What are the chances of accomplishment of the activity if you have an effective schedule, you have allocated resources. So uh, you are in position to estimate the chances of completion of that activity when that activity is likely to be accomplished. So that's all about advantages of network scheduling. Network scheduling techniques. Basically, there are two common techniques that we apply in network scheduling. One is PERT, Program Evolution Review Technique, and other is CPM, Critical Path Method. That PERT, Program Evolution Review Technique, is also called ADM and AOA. ADM stands for Arrow Diagram Method, and activity on arrow method. And CPM, critical path method is also called PDM. PDM stands for precedence diagram method, as well as AON, activity on node method. So these are the network scheduling technique that we will discuss later on in this chapter. So now we are discussing terminology. These are the basic terms which are used in scheduling. One is the activity. Activity is a specific task or set of tasks that are required by the project, use of resources, and take time to complete. So basically, activity is a task which needs the resources and the timing to start and end of that task. This is about activity. Event is the end result of that activity. The result of completing one or more activity is called event. Network, the combination of all activities and events that define a project. So through network, we show connection between the activities. So that's why we said it's a combination of all activities altogether. These network diagrams, network schedules are drawn starts from left to right. So we moves arrow from, say suppose we mention activity A, then arrow moves from left towards activity B, then arrow from activity B to C from left to right. And these connections represents predecessors. We shows connections through arrows which shows that which was the preceding or last activity in that network. Path, a series of connected activities. All activities are to be shown together, just like activity first activity A, then maybe activity B, then C, D, and we connect all these activities through arrows, and overall these activities with arrows together are called a series of connected activities, and we say it a path. Critical, an activity, event, or path which if delayed will delay the completion of the project. So some activities are critical, means other activities are also dependent on these activities. So first you are supposed to complete that activity, then you can move ahead, proceed to another activity. Critical path, the path through which the project where if any activity is delayed, the project is delayed. So basically critical path gives you the direction where you are supposed to go, what are the preceding activities, what are the following activities, what are the parallel activities, what are the sequential activities. So every activity is to be properly mentioned in critical path. So there is always a critical path. Of course, you are supposed to develop sequence of activities. Either these are performed sequentially or simultaneously. There is always these are to be shown through a path. There can be more than one critical path. Sometimes you have uh, parallel activities or simultaneous activities. You are supposed, once you have performed activity A, then you can move to activity B, C, and D simultaneously. Further, these all three activities B, C, and D are to be completed parallel. They go on parallel. So you are supposed to develop more than one critical path for different activities which are going on simultaneously. So that's why there can be more than one critical path. Sequential activities means activities which are performed in a sequence. So first activity A, then B, then C, then D. One activity must be completed before the next one can begin. This is called sequential activities. Means one activity is dependent on other activity. So first preceding activity is completed, then following activity is started. This is called sequential activities. Parallel activities mean those activities can take place at the same time, simultaneously. Suppose there are, as we already discussed, three activities A, B, C. All these activities go on together, parallel or simultaneously. Immediate predecessor, that activity that must be completed just before a particular activity can begin. So immediate predecessor means the activity first which is to be completed so that other activity can be started. Means next activity is dependent on the last or preceding activity, and that last or preceding activity is called immediate predecessor. So here we have given format of activity on arrow or activity on node. As we already discussed that networking scheduling is done through symbols. So here we have used symbols, arrows, squares through which circles through which we have showed the project activities. These are just sample formats for two type of networking scheduling techniques that we already discussed: program evolution review technique as well as critical path method. So we will discuss in detail these formats with examples. Here just we have uh, showed you that formats of activity on node format and activity on arrow format. In activity on node format, activities are shown on squares, just like activity is 1a, 1b, 1c. These are three activities which we have showed here in these squares. This is activity on node format, but in activity on arrow format we show activities, each activity on arrow. Similarly, same three activities, activity A, 1a, activity 1b, activity 1c, are here showed on arrows. So that format is called activity on arrow format. Further, how further these activities are proceeding from activity 1a to say suppose in AON format, activity on node format, then activity 1a, then activity 3a, activity 2a. So we will discuss in detail all these formats in our next lecture with example. So that's all for today about network scheduling. Thank you.